Question 4. How did you use media technologies in the construction, research, planning and evaluation stages?
We used a wide range of technologies throughout our project. We used Blogger to record and document our whole development, our research, our planning. We found it incredibly effective, and it was also quite personal in the fact that we could all create different types of blogs with backgrounds and labels, and as well adapt the posts easily and also formatting, so if we embed something that's slightly too big, we could change the size. And overall it was just really good for when people wanted to look at our work and also for ourselves for recording it.
It was really flexible in that you could embed pretty much anything. PowerPoint presentations through SlideShare, emails, presentations in Prezi, all of these different technologies can be easily embedded onto the blog, and it's really nice to show the sort of, if you like, journey of our project.
Yeah, as well as videos, so our final Digipack website and music video are all on our blogs. Yeah. For Blogger, we found it really useful as well because we were able to work on our project at home. We all have usernames and logins for our separate blogs which we could work on at home, so you would never feel restricted to a time limit, and it meant that if we went home and we could see it on a different computer or a different device, and we could work on it. And there's also an app for it, so on phones and tablets it was just as equally useful.
Yeah. We've also got hyperlinks to everyone's blog on our own blogs, so we're always interacting on our blogs. We can see what each other's done. We found it particularly handy to make quick lists straight onto Blogger.
For example, we did a blog post recently before one of our last filming days, just sort of summarising what needs to be reshot.
We explored different presentation methods such as Prezi, Emaze, Padlet, Blogster, as well as a few others. We used them for mood boards, brainstorming, and when we just want to record our research. And we did find them all mostly effective. However, as a group, we really dislike Prezi, and although we're using it for our evaluations, it is one of the better tools for presentations. We find it quite time-consuming and flappy, and an example of this would be when you're trying to put text in, and often it's in a circle format, and it's often unneat, and the text runs over, and it's not the easiest thing to work with.
So Prezi is really useful for small chunks of information. The format is loads of circles of information spread out across a page. So for small bits of information it's really useful, but when coming up with our final project idea, we found Emaze to be far more effective because this kind of followed the same sort of format as PowerPoint and other slideshow-based sort of presentation softwares. So we used this for our final project idea, so we could display lots and lots of information.
We did use PowerPoint to begin with, though. However, we found it was good for displaying information sort of concisely and clearly. However, it's quite basic, and it also, when you uploaded it, you have to upload it through SlideShare. When you did this, you lost transitions and effects. So even though it could be interactive beforehand, it lost that and it became quite boring. So we decided to drift away and try more advanced technologies.
The example of when we used SlideShare to upload a PowerPoint presentation was quite often during the research stages when we were looking at past student work, and for example I did my auxiliary text past student work post on PowerPoint, which was uploaded through SlideShare.
We also used social media a lot during our production, as we used Facebook as a means to communicate with our actors and sort of work out times that everyone was free, as well as share the video so we could receive feedback on it. We have 3 separate accounts, so we were able to get 3 completely sort of different responses, as we all are friends with different people. So, and it also, because we have a lot of friends of our same age and that's our target audience, we were able to get really accurate feedback, and we found social media incredibly useful to use.
I'd say social media would probably be the most effective technology we used in our projects. It being quite a modern thing, our target audience were naturally targeted when using social media because that's where they all are. They're all using Facebook nowadays. We use Messenger often to arrange our groups, so our dancers, choreographer, and one of our other actors we all had a little group chat on Facebook Messenger, and it was then really easy to communicate with one another and get things sorted and planned.
Yeah, we also chose Facebook because it's easy for our target audience, our friends, and to like our posts and comment feedback, which is really useful for us. We also often posted at kind of prime time, like after school, where people often, like us, checked Facebook.
Using Messenger with our group chat for our actors, dancer, choreographer, blah, 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 it was really useful because because we could get feedback from them, which was quite different to the feedback from everyone else because they really understood the project to a different level. Obviously, with her choreographing for us, if she could see perhaps their camera shot didn't do justice to one of the dance moves or didn't illustrate her emotion in a certain way, she could tell us how to change this and what to do next. It was just nice to have feedback from different sorts of people, and I think social media is what's helped us do this the most. It's also really useful that social media now all comes together, so when you put a link to our music video final draft onto Facebook, it sends a link straight to YouTube, which then links to most of the other things from our project. So anyone that's gone on there with quite a vague idea of our video can then get a much more specific context and give us feedback that's really useful and more relevant.
Yeah. It meant that we could trust our feedback to an extent because we knew that people were gauging and understanding, and it wasn't sort of, oh yeah, that video looks alright. They could understand and look further into the plot. For our construction stage, our main technology was Final Cut Pro. We decided to use this instead of iMovie for many reasons. Final Cut Pro allows for colour grading, more precise editing, mark up videos with markers and favourites.
We found Final Cut Pro really effective because of the flexibility it offered us. Really, we could change the colours of the video so easily. Like anything we wanted, whether it was visual or in the structure of the video itself, it's really easy to change. For example, using the blade tool, you can really quickly cut footage, delete it without affecting the rest of the project, which is really important with a music video.
It's keyboard shortcuts, so like
Yeah.
B for blade and then A, so really it's all in front of you. You don't have to go out of your way. We also found for stuff like, because the nature of our video and the dancing itself, we often had to use handheld, and although we didn't want it to appear like we'd held the camera, as we didn't want that shakiness to it, we were able to stabilise it and change it, and also we were able to adapt the type of stabilisation. So just the little precise tools and zooming in to a ridiculous amount, it was so much easier to match the beat of her dancing to the actual song, which created such a better outcome.
Being able to use the blade tool and to cut footage out without it affecting the layout of the rest of the project was really important for a music video, more than anything else, because it was so timed with the song. The footage had to be perfect. And the nature of our song itself was quite experimental. There was lots of sound effects and quite strange rhythms, and it wasn't necessarily the easiest thing to organise. It was quite, some of the sounds, it doesn't necessarily match up quite as well as another type of song would. So we had to really get the editing right. So if we used the blade tool and cut the footage and it shuffled even by a second a piece of footage, then it would completely ruin the final outcome.
We used Webflow to construct our website, as it produced a significantly more professional website than, say, Wix.com.
So it allowed, in a similar way to Final Cut Pro, for a lot more flexibility with the design. Starting from scratch rather than using a template allowed us to have complete control over everything. So every section, from the height of each section to the colour, the pictures and the font style in every section was completely designed from the ground up. It also allowed us to use something called a class. So you'd assign a class to every title on the page or every body of text, and when you make one change to the title at the top, it would then do the same thing for all of it. So it's really easy to make a coherent product that had a similar look throughout.
No inconsistencies.
And with using a similar font, or trying to use the same font on our other projects such as the Digipack, the fact that the website would then be completely consistent meant that our project would all be
And that was exactly what we wanted. With such a strong sort of visual style of Flume that we've tried to adapt to our own style, we wanted our video, website and Digipack to link, and using Webflow it enabled us to produce such a coherent project.
We were also able to see what it would look like on mobile devices and tablets, and laptops and desktops, which obviously means a lot to our target audience, because our target audience is very social media based, phone, they always have their phone on them, so it would be more likely that they looked at our website on their phone rather than a computer, which we made it on. So we made our website look quite modern through it being a one-page website. I'm particularly fond of the arrow on the home page, which allows you to go down, and you can always also click on the top.
The arrow would kind of lead you from one section to another, and that was definitely something we've looked into, because most modern websites now are single page sites rather than having multiple pages. So the arrow is quite necessary to jump from section to section. For the construction stage of our music video, we also used a DSLR camera rather than a camcorder or something we've used in previous projects. And I think this was definitely the biggest step up in terms of quality. Having control over exactly what lens you use, has control over the depth of field, the width of the angle. It was just complete control. And
a lot of our audience has come back to us during giving us feedback and said, the camera quality makes it really, really strong. Looks really professional. So
it did just enable us to do shots. For example, our smoke shots, we were able to capture the smoke in incredible detail, and especially with a lot of sort of focus on focus. It enabled us to have complete control over that, which was significantly better than anything we'd ever used before.
And what with DSLRs being used more and more in modern films and productions, it was quite nice to feel like you're developing in a similar way. It was quite nice to use modern technology
and linking that with Final Cut Pro was what Paranormal Activity was similarly filmed on. So there's a strong connection there. We used YouTube throughout our research and planning because we were able to reference past student work, gain examples, look for what we did and didn't want, and it also just enabled us to get a better understanding of music videos in a way, official and non-official.
For the construction of our Digipack, we used Photoshop. This was quite a different graphics design software compared to... it's much better than online creators.
We were all quite confident on Photoshop, so it did enable us to sort of bring all our 3 points of knowledge together on it, and sort of, when one of us was struggling, it all could help out.
Also, again, like I've said with the other technologies, it's really, really flexible, so you've got complete control over everything, and it allowed us to make sure that even down to the colouring was consistent alongside our other projects.
It was just a really good professional tool to use.
Even specific things like we were able to we downloaded a template off the internet and we were able to turn it off and on. So when we wanted to line up our text with how big the CD is going to be and the front cover, we were able to see specific outlines of where we need it to be. And then when we want to show our teacher or post it onto our blog when it was finished, we were able to turn that off and just have the Digipack. And it would, if we printed that out, that would all line up with the CD case and
it just made sure that our design worked sort of it was to an industry standard, wasn't it? It was using a proper Digipack template that would be used by real designers. So.
It was just made the whole process easier for uploading, as our Digipack featured all of our own images taken on the shoot days with DSLRs. It meant that it was so easy to import them, adapt them, edit them, and do whatever to fit the templates, which just produced an outcome which we were all really proud of.
We found all of the technologies we use quite time consuming. I think it's fair to say that Digipack probably took the longest, as a sort of smaller thing to the construction wise. I think the music video was definitely the longest thing. But in terms of smaller project, Digipack took the longest. It was not even because the software was hard to use, but because we definitely wanted things to look good.
We had such a strong visual style that we wanted to be so consistent that every little decision or tweak of colour affected other projects. So we really wanted to make a strong link and not go over the top with colours just because it looked cool. We really wanted to make it obvious that this is our brand and this is the artist that we're representing.
This project has taught us more than anything the importance of technology in production. I think while it took a long time as well, it kind of also taught us that it's not easy to make a project. You need to put a lot of hours into researching on technology, using technology to construct.
And
every stage, technology is key, and I think we've developed our skills in technology more with this project than anything before.
And I think especially our time management with technology, because I think we've realised by the end that whatever time we think it's going to take twice as long. And whether that's because the technology we use is hard or whether it's just time consuming getting the result we wanted. But I think inevitably we met the deadline and we were all really pleased with our choice of technologies in general.
So during the construction process, the song we chose by Flume was very, very long.
It was about 5 minutes.
His style was quite experimental and his song was therefore really, really long. So we took the song into Magic's Music Maker and cut it from 5 minutes to 3 minutes.
It was really effective and you would never know that the song was originally 5 minutes long.
It also, I think, allowed us to some extent to kind of have complete control over where our music video would go at certain points. You know, whereas Flume would go somewhere with this song, we could take that bit out and say that we actually wanted to do this bit next, and it was quite nice to be able to rearrange it.
And as Flume's, the song we chose didn't have many lyrics, it didn't affect the actual narrative. It kept the whole narrative how it was meant to be portrayed, however we just cut out bits that weren't necessary or added in. But this meant that we had more control in our whole conceptual planning. Our evaluation, we've planned to use 4 technologies, one for each question, being an edited piece to camera, Prezi, Padlet and Powtoon. We chose edited piece to camera because we were all confident speaking to a camera and it would enable us to drop in examples where relevant and...
So to really illustrate what we're talking about at the same time, it's for such a big question and as well for something about technology, it was quite important that we could show how we use the technologies at the same time.
Show our skills.
Yeah, and visually it's very easy to see what we're talking about, and we're very confident on Final Cut Pro, and it wouldn't be too time consuming for us.
Screenshots, if let's say we chose another technology, screenshots wouldn't quite do justice.
Not
the
at all.
point we're trying to make.
We chose Prezi as well to put everything, each question onto, and as well as using it to answer an actual question. And although we dislike it, we do find that it's incredibly effective
and interactive.
And it does produce a good outcome. So we did decide to.
It's very easy to work on at home as well. So it's a separate login to Prezi, which we can get hold of at home. As well as at school, unlike a vlog, so that's all in school time, which enables us to.
Padlet's quite a creative presentation tool. It's a lot more sort of mind mappy and.
It's designed like a feed, isn't it? Like almost like a Facebook feed. You put posts on, and they're ordered. You can display them differently, but it's got quite a nice structure.
You can almost sort of annotate, like it gives you a lot more freedom, and it's very visual. So after having such a written piece like Prezi, we wanted something that would break it up and also just, as we're using it to do our audience feedback question, we thought it would be quite good to visualise all our feedback and it would show it clearly.
And also to show the before and after, so what we did and how we changed it.
Yeah.
Also, I've used Padlet before for a post I did about Spike Jones and his work, and it was really useful to arrange really visually all of the stages of his work.
So we'd embed things like screenshots of the comments on Facebook.
You could even put the video on there.
There's just a lot of
messages we've got from people that have inboxed us about it. YouTube comments.
We were going to use Powtoon as well. Powtoon's sort of a comical sort of animation type presentation.
Very interactive.
It's really
it's
interactive.
Colourful, it's fun. It's
kind of got a film vibe about it.
Yeah.
So we just thought it would sort of break it up a bit more, and as well as being able to write a lot on it, it sort of detracts from it
being quite boring.
Being boring and sort of not visual, and just we didn't want it to be a PowerPoint, so we thought Powtoon was a really good way to present.
It kind of adds colour, if you like, to something quite serious. I don't know. It's a way of making a really, really interactive, yet full-on PowerPoint presentation. It is good fun.
Overall, I think we're all quite proud of our outcomes using the technologies, and I don't think there'd be anything that we'd necessarily change about the technologies that we used.
I think the technology has really, really helped us this year. I think more than ever. I think we've really developed our use of technology, looking at more and more different types of even just down to the presentation software.
In comparison to last year, especially.
And the final product would look nowhere near the way it does if we didn't use the same technologies this year. And even coming down to the quality of the shots with DSLR, and the editing and software, it's all helped to make our final product look exactly how I wanted it.
that's our answer to question 4.
Thank you for watching our
Thanks for
absolutely
watching
fabulous
this
video.